whoever like immigrated and migrated, they all had like a bumpy road. It wasn't easy for them. And they had to deal with a lot of discrimination and prejudice. And the ethnic groups that we're going to be talking about consist of Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, and African Americans. They all have a, they each have their own different experiences and stories to tell.
Hispanic migration and immigration. Hispanics came a lot because of resources. They were very poor for education. They came a lot for those kind of resources, better job. But migrating here wasn't easy. There was a lot of they had to immigrate, which wasn't easy for them. If they were caught by the borderline, they would be sent back or be arrested into jail for a couple of days or months. A lot migrated just to Washington. Some people stopped like around California and then came to Washington State because like California was a really rich place and very where they would stop, get food and get some food resources to come to Washington. Government. Alright, I'll be talking about how the border protection, how Washington, how immigrants, it wasn't easy for them because of the border protection. How it was established in 1945. There was it was built for immigrants to stay out, mostly for American Hispanics. Um, Also, the 1947 post-war led to more immigrants, a huge wave of immigrants to come in. Also, a lot during the Korean conflict, it led a big wave of Hispanics to come in. Um, in 2013, Barack Obama said that he would propose to legalize some immigrants, but he has not confirmed the message yet.
Okay, so in the time period of 1915 to 1970, most African Americans migrated for better jobs or better opportunities from the South cities. However, they faced racial discrimination wherever they went. They weren't allowed to use the same public accommodations as like that were considered white. Um, when they were interviewed about their migration, it was mostly older people. They had no idea they were part of the Great Migration from 1915 to 1970. These are some of the people that migrated.
Rosa Parks moved?
No, she was in the like, Mississippi. Rosa Parks was an integral part of the desegregation process for between African Americans and whites. She worked hard. A simple refusal from not giving up her place for a white man changed the lives of every African American in the South Cities.
I will read the or perform the poems there after the presentation.
Those are pictures of Rosa Parks on the bus getting arrested.
When Dr. King was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968. He relates to Rosa Parks because he invented the boycott, but I'll get to that later. He was an African American man who wanted freedom for blacks. It was very depressing because blacks in those days didn't have the same kind of rights that whites did. The whites took over and controlled everything. Most blacks were slaves and they could only wish for freedom. They had old rundown schools and nobody was fair to one another. Martin Luther King thought it wasn't fair, so he did many things to help stop the white and black segregation, like creating the boycott, and led marches to other places. By doing this, he has changed many lives.
Yes, picture.
Okay, Okay, so there are three major ethnic groups, specifically in the Asians. There was the Chinese, Japanese, and the Filipino. So when the Asians all came, they all did labor and worked, and they had to deal with a lot of discrimination, and um, they came here for resources, like the Hispanics, and they came here for work, for money. Some of them were called sojourners, which basically are migrators. They just migrate, and they move back to Asia to give money to their families because they just came into America for better work that they can get in Asia. And in 1952, there was a law called the Immigration and Naturalization Act. It was basically a law that made immigrants naturalized citizens, and there was still discrimination and restrictions against them, but it was like a step to becoming citizens Americans of Asia. I mean, America. But the Asians influenced a lot in the American culture, like architecture, cuisine, designs that came from Asian cultures, stuff like that. And so the first Chinese Asian ethnic group, the Chinese, they came to work for labor, and they were the first Asian group to come. And America and China had some fighting going on since China's a communist country now. Big change to the communist. So America and China broke off ties, but then they came back together, and they're now like business partners. The Japanese were second to come, but their population was a bit bigger than the Chinese. And after World War II, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and Japan and China had some disputes going on. So the Americans wanted to get the Japanese because it was all about faith and not faith, but like trust and betrayal, and they didn't trust them, so they wanted to kick them out. But they soon came back. And Filipinos, their population increased once the Chinese and Japanese started decreasing, and they weren't exactly identified as Filipinos at first. They're Pacific Islanders, so the discrimination didn't take place as fast as the Japanese and Chinese did. And they worked lots of dangerous jobs, same as Japanese and Chinese, and they were low paying as well. And a flag, Japan's flag, the Philippine flag.
Alright, Native Americans were kicked out or forced out of their own land because whites wanted their land. The government forced them out to a very designated area for Indian territory. It was across the Mississippi River. The trail was very dangerous, so they called it the Trail of Tears. Also, on World War II, it affected a lot of the Native Americans. They had to make women who usually worked in the house. They forced them to go work outside the house outside the house to work, and the women were not paid equally as the men were. They were paid less, and usually they would stay in the house working with gathering materials and all that with the children. Lifestyle and traditions. Every tribe had their own unique history. There was more than 500 tribes that were in the United States. Furthermore, the culture and Native Americans living on reservations different greatly from the Native Americans who do not live on reservations. Also, as ancient traditions, they keep all these traditions alive, their stories, their songs, art, and they keep it alive today. They also like to fish a lot, their food, and pick wild berries.
Okay. represent the Asian culture. It's not. I brought Chinese clothes specifically because, well, just to represent. It's supposed to represent the Asian culture in general. So these are Chinese, traditional Chinese clothing. This one's a dress. Not my dress, but it's my cousin's. And this is a shirt. And this is a skirt that goes with the shirt. So it's an outfit. So the reason why I brought Chinese clothes, it was supposed to represent, like, the Asians. When they came to America, they brought their culture with them. And it showed that Asians stayed true to their culture and origin, but they still adapted to American culture and learned it. And Asian parents would teach their kids about whom they were and where they came from before they would teach them about the Americans and their culture. And it shows that the diversity and culture that they brought into American culture and the pieces of identity that they brought with them to America.
Okay, I brought a bus that represents transportation, and um, one of the things that blacks and whites were equal on after Rosa Parks refused to go her seat. Nowadays we take transportation for granted. If blacks wanted to go long distances, this was the only means they had if they wanted to travel long distance.
Then he slammed on the brakes, turned around and grumbled. But she was tired that day. Weariness was in her bones. And so the things she'd done yesterday, on yesteryear, on her work days, church days, nothing to do, I'll go and visit Sister Annie days. She felt she'd never do it again. And she growled once more. She said, "No, sir, I'm staying right here." And he gruffly grabbed her, pulled and pushed her, then sharply shoved her through the doors. The news slushed through the littered streets, slipped into the crowded churches, slumbered onto the unmagnetic side of town, while the men talked and talked and talked. She who was tired that day, cried and sobbed that she was glad she's done it, that her soul was satisfied, that the Lord knows a little walking never hurt anybody. That in one of those unplanned, unexpected, unadorned moments, a worried woman turned the page of history.
Who knew that a simple refusal could change everything? One short phrase, "No sir, I'm staying right here," could change the lives of every African American in the South City. I was fed up with this nonsense. We weren't allowed to use the same washrooms, restaurants, or anything that was considered white. Most importantly, if we wanted to ride the bus, we had to sit in the back. I don't know where this random surge of boldness came from, but I was not going to give up my seat. I will no longer be treated as a minority. Today, December 1st, 1955, is the day I, a weary old woman, will change history.
My artifact was pretty much an outlet because everybody that I knew a lot from Hispanics that they came here because of this. No, they didn't have plugs like this. They didn't have to connect. They didn't have internet. They don't have all this that we had. This outlet, this big resource was needed. They didn't have internet or power. They migrated here because they wanted these, as well as the life here in Washington was easier because of all this technology that we have, all this power that we could use to get our resources from. Like the little outlet was important to them. More Hispanics also came for education because you get very poor education when you get back there. You only go up to 6th grade, and if you wanted to go up higher than 6th grade, you would have to pay to go. Also, education was easier. It would have been easier if they had technology involved like we do. Like it's very easy, but it's still tough. But the Hispanics didn't have this.
the artifact I was going to read is a piece of the Martin Luther King speech. When we allow freedom to reign, when we let it ring from every city and every hand, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews, and Gentiles, Protestants, and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing the words of the Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.